Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
The further the planet from your star, the better the collector that you are. Gravity is the thing that you're looking for, and yes, we do expect you to raise the floor.
If you're looking for your place in space, you found it. Not just any metaverse, it's the Solaverse. Welcome to the Solaverse Show with your host, Dave Storm. All right, this time I remembered that I didn't need to come in early on that. So, hello guys. I'm a little under the weather, so you're going to hear some little mouth noises that aren't typically part of the show, but that's just the way it goes. Plus, I have an ear infection, so I'm hearing myself in two different pitches right here, which is driving me insane. So, you'll have to forgive me for being distracted at one time or another here today on Solaverse Show number 3. This is for December the 17th, 2021. The time is 1:36 p.m. right here home in Texas. Yep, that's it. And we have a good show for you today because there was a little thing called an AMA yesterday, and we've got lots of good information, and we've got lots of good fan theories that are out there. And our guest today is one of the perpetrators of some of our most grand fan theories that there are. So we decided today was a good day to have him on the show, and that would be, well, you know what? We need to do a proper introduction. Since we don't have Senna today for tea time, we will just go straight to our owner spotlight. So let's get started. What do you say?
Sounds great.
Searching the Solaverse far and wide to bring you this Solastar Owner Spotlight. The Solastar Owner Spotlight, and you heard him just a second ago. Now, there's been some conjecture because John said it one way yesterday, and I have said it another way multiple times. Is it Robbie One Kenobi or is it Roby One Kenobi? That's the question, Mr. Guest.
Yeah, so actually, Senna had got it right, but he had a little bit of inside information. I had spoken previously in DMs with him. It is Roby One Kenobi.
Roby One Kenobi. And I probably should know that because, well, you know, being a Star Wars mega geek and all, I should know Obi-Wan, Roby One. I should have gone that direction. But, you know, it was just R-O-B, I think Robbie, you know, I don't know. So I apologize.
Yeah.
I've been getting that wrong for over a month, and but yeah, we're here. But anyway, welcome to the show, dude. Glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. It's great to be a part of the Solaverse and Sola fam. It's something that, you know, searching the internet, finding, you know, a home in DMs and in Discord is great.
Oh yeah, and Bonga Bites in the chat from the Discord. So hello, Bonga. I made an announcement, I think, in general chat. If you want to go into raids or something, dude, in the Discord and let them know that we're out here, then maybe we get a few more. And now, yeah, this is a sneak attack because I've got a bunch of stuff to do family-related tomorrow. And Roby here wasn't necessarily going to be available tomorrow either. So this really did kind of just come out of the blue for all of us, and so it has proven to be a bit of a sneak attack for us all. So, but so let's get the Solaverse owner spotlight thing going first, and talk about you, and talk about how you found the Solaverse and what you like, what you're looking forward to, that sort of thing.
All right. Yeah. So my wife's a huge TikTok fan. And actually, I was kind of hesitant to get on there and start looking around, but I listened to Crypto with Leo and a few other big crypto TikTokers just to get their perspectives. I'm big into stocks. I'm big into crypto. And Leo had stated something along the lines of, you got to check this Solaverse. I was like, all right, let's go in. I checked it out, and I immediately bought 2 stars. I didn't even get into the Discord of like talking with anyone. I read the website. I read everything as far as I listened to the AMAs, and I immediately just clicked mint. So from there, just being involved with everything inside of Discord, I've talked with, I've DM'd Senna a couple of times.
Right.
I tried getting that big fan theories page going because I had done a whole bunch of different fan theories that I had written down. And I was like, I don't want this to get lost in general. I would really like somewhere we could all come together and really get going of, hey, what's this? And it seems to have turned out really well.
Yes. For all of us, I might add.
And so, I mean, everything's just blossomed from, that initial first 2-star purchase. I've actually increased my holdings further than that, up to 22 stars now.
22 stars, I feel rather inadequate, and I thought I was doing pretty good with 12. So, yeah.
You are. You're doing perfectly well with 12 stars.
See, and that's the level of commitment that we see when you look at Etherscan. There's like 10 of us that have 10 or 12 stars or more. In fact, I think that number has gone up now to about 12 people that have 10 or more stars. But the level of commitment within the community itself, and I saw a tweet this morning that somebody put out that's was trying to get one of the celebrities that either I tagged or somebody else tagged, one or the other, was saying, hey, you're not going to find a group like this again because, and they used the diamond and then hands emoji to show that there was 0.9% of the minted tokens that are currently up and listed on OpenSea. And I've been a part of a lot of NFTs, and there's never just 1% listed. Somebody is always paper handing out there, and usually a lot, right? And also, only 0.4 are listed below 1 Ethereum, which is 5x the mint price. So, that's diamond hands, to speak of right now, and I don't think anybody's more than like or 1.7x the mint price. I think 0.37 was the lowest one that I saw listed, and a lot of them are 1 ETH or above.
Yeah, and hands off to Senna and John and the team for really coming up with the idea of founder status going through all of December in order to get founder status, not listing your star.
Right.
I mean, that's huge, and allowing development, allowing the story to progress, which we've only been given just hints. And yesterday was a huge bomb drop,
right,
with a lot of the little teasers that came out. But to have that and be able to say, I'm going to stick with this without listing it, even with the 800 or so that aren't eligible for founders, for them to not list it still,
right,
that it's incredible.
Right. So that's what I really feel like. One, it was genius of having that mechanic that, hey, you can get founder status and we're going to advertise for you, but you can't list your star. I mean, gee, yeah, okay, genius. That's what I'm going to do in my NFT project, which I'm going to tease a little bit later, by the way. And so I'm really good. So, hey, we've got what looks like Sky Ender, Loco Yeti, Solarian. Oh, Riri's in the chat. And who else is here? Marcus. Is it Marcus OSI or is it like Marcosi? I don't know. That's one of those things. And anyway, good to see all you guys. We got 9 of you so far in chat just from one little thing in the Discord in the middle of the day on a Friday. So that's really good. So yeah, so I mean I found the Solaverse a little bit. You know, I've told this story a couple of different times. I was coming off of another project where I thought I was going to be a little bit more involved than I wound up being, and then just kind of accidentally found the Solaverse, and I was like you. I was really swayed by the AMA. I got in touch with Senna, who was more than willing to talk to me, even though he had no idea who the hell I was. And, you know, boom, boom, boom. Things happened from there, and I picked up 2 stars, and then I've been gradually sweeping the floor every time I see, yeah. And well, and the thing is, it always seems to be when somebody lists below market, it's almost a game now in the Discord to say, all right, who's going to get this first, El Bobo or Big Yoda, right? Is you know, to see about sweeping the floor. Now, I've minted a few that I knew were going to be founder stars for a couple of people in the community that didn't have the money and really wanted founder stars, and so I minted them for them, and then they gradually paid me back over time. It's like a layaway. It's like a star layaway program. But
Oh yeah.
but that, you know, that has worked out for them pretty well, and so all those stars are now with their rightful owners, and so I really look forward to that. But I have another idea now as well that I'm going to get to after we get through all the Solaverse news that I'm going to throw out there, and this is a reason for the question. In fact, while we go through the Solaverse news and the AMA, I'll probably get to it because that was a reason for the question that I asked in the AMA that they answered. But anyway, tell us now about or if you want to, right? We've had one person that said, no, I'm not going to, and one person so far that says, yes, absolutely, here you go. Tell us about, if you want, what your system or systems are going to be named, or what they're going to be about, or, you know, this is part of the reason I do this is to allow you to showcase your stuff so that people can listen to these shows. All, you know, down the line, someone is going to say, wow, hey, Solaverse, this sounds cool. I wonder if there's a podcast out there, right? And 6 months from now, somebody is going to come looking for this in the middle of July, and they're going to say, wow, somebody started doing a podcast 6 months before the game came out. Maybe I'm going to listen to see what this thing was. Boom. They're going to get to see and hear about your stars and maybe go join your system if they get a planet, right? So, yeah, have a whack and see if somebody wants to subscribe to your publication, so to speak.
Yeah, I've had quite a few thoughts race through my brain. If you haven't, looked at the fan theories page and what I posted, I come up with a lot. My one thing that I do know that I'm going to have is basically a tribute solar star. That's going to be, basically what I want to do with the game, what I want to do as far as like promoting like myself and my things that I create. Right now I'm a dad, jack of all trades. But my one goal is to make it about me. The other ones I want to really pursue like a business type model with them, get a solid foundation, kind of make it, I'm gonna have a multitude of different stars to play with, as well as planets that I'm expecting to get as well. But like the one that I really want to talk about, with mine is going to either be something along my name that I have. I like Roby1 Kenobi. It's kind of through all my gamer profiles. It started back in college. I think that's going to be a part of it.
Okay. Okay.
And then possibly, the planets. I'm going to have enough planets to probably slot into that star that I can make my own. That's kind of where I want to build that up as my brand.
I gotcha.
I have an NFT line that I started. I have 10,000 NFTs that I haven't launched yet. I know you and I have talked offline, about NFT projects that you have that I,
right.
Was looking into, where should I mint these?
Right.
And maybe something comes along with game mechanics that I can use in order to bring more people to that specific star.
Right. Right.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going, that I have a very big head start of what I've thought of what I want to do. with one particular star. Just depending on what star that is, I'm not sure.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, well that sounds cool, right? There's going to be no shortage of Star Wars themed stars. I'm positive. Obviously, Big Yoda being one of them. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think there's a few others. Looks like that's the DJ that I didn't know. That's actually Gabriel Joseph. That's in chat, and then Savannah has joined us as well from her doctor's perch. I'm sure between patients. Hello. And so it's very happy to see you guys here, and so yeah, that's exciting. I am. You guys know that one of my stars is going to be called Big Yoda or something having to do with Yoda and Star Wars theme. And you guys also know that star number 420 is going to be named Sativa. I don't know how putting these names out there is going to help reserve them in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what order we're going to go in. I don't know if two stars are going to be able to be named the same thing. That's probably something that would have been nice to ask during the AMA, but I didn't. But yeah, exactly, right? So
I have big dreams.
Yeah, right. And there's going to be another one of my stars. Well, I'll go ahead and tease it now. Another one of my stars is going to be called the Diceverse. And that's the name of my NFT project. Where I've got a friend who's a developer. I'm getting ready to be, hopefully in 16 more hours, I'll be certified, a certified Solidity developer. Go figure. And we originally were going to launch on Solana, and we've changed now to Immutable X. So that's where we're going to launch. But it's going to be a while yet before we launch anything, because we have decided. Chris is my game developer that I've been working with for God, I don't know how long. We've put up 5 different board games and stuff, and now he's a video game developer on the Unity. But anyway, we want to have a game that people can play before we even begin to think about selling an NFT, and that's backwards from almost every other project you ever see, and we think it's going to be a market differentiator. But I'll get into that a little bit later. But anyway, there will be a star of mine called the Diceverse, and you guys can run wild with the idea of what that's going to be. But yeah, so anything else you want to throw out there about... Movich just joined us as well. That's awesome in chat. Thank you, man. Lithum is there now, too. We've got 25 people in chat, which I think is the most we've ever had in one of these shows on a Friday afternoon. It's fantastic. I love it, guys. It's great. Anything else you want to throw out there before we start getting into some of this Metaverse news? And there is a ton to get into in Metaverse news today.
Yeah. Say the only thing that I can say is that I have that personal one that I'm going to do. But that's going to feed all my other stars. So like being able to be a part of my personal one will allow you to do other things on the other ones that I have, kind of leading that like a tree root, like you can go to this branch, and with the NFTs that I have, being allowed to go on to those systems with maybe I don't know the mechanics of what's going to go or what's going to happen. Maybe you get a bit of a perk from having this, or I can create a perk for you,
right?
Kind of allowing it to lend itself into the game.
Okay.
Very early. It's
okay.
Very early in theory. It and like I said, that's the only one that I really have. But there's other things that I've had go through and think on, and I have the white paper of my stars, if you will. But I want to keep them to myself for just specific monetary reasons.
No, I understand that. Yeah, and there's certain things that are going to be competitive advantages or whatnot, right? That you're going to do that you don't want somebody to front run you, right? And so
exactly.
Yeah, that's I Savannah in chat says that you want simps. That's what you want. That's kind of funny. But yeah, there's Sky, what's going on? There's So yeah, there's so many different things that we can do with this, and this is kind of getting into some of the bombs they dropped in the AMA. So why don't we get into Metaverse news, and then we can get into some of the fan theories that I know we wanted to talk about, and then we can kind of do our thing, right? So let's stop down for Metaverse news in 2 seconds. News from the Solaverse and beyond. I think I might want to redo that bumper because it's a little bit low and it doesn't sound exciting. You know, it sounds news-ish from a cosmic standpoint, but it's me. I don't know. I might redo it. We'll take options
maybe
from
like
the community.
maybe like a pulsar beat in the background
Or something, right? Yeah, something a little quicker. That's not quite. I don't know. It sounded good to me at the time, and now after the third time I've played it, I'm like, But who's this? Curtin? 19? What is that? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he looks like a Jedi, right? Yeah, that's what he said. He says you look like a Jedi because you've got the bigger beard, right? You just need a robe. Now you need a robe, and you need to lose the hat, obviously, and you need a saber. Yes, get the man a saber. Okay. Is it a saber? So, AMA was yesterday for the Solaverse, and we had one confirmed incident where somebody got slapped, and we'll get to that. But the majority of the leaks, or the information provided, was indeed authorized by John. But when we get to it toward the end, we'll get to the one big bomb that somebody dropped that they obviously weren't supposed to because the whole room erupted.
Yeah, it was fun listening to it. It definitely was fun. Like you could feel the tension sometimes in the questions asked.
Right. Let's at the first of the AMA, they mentioned that this was the game that was coming out first, which is their alpha game, is a turn-based MMO that is space-based, and it will include bases from which you can upgrade your ships. So it sounds to me like it's going to be spaceship combat. I envision 3 ships on 3 ships shooting at one another on the screen in kind of a 2D environment kind of thing. And I may be completely off base on that, but what was your take on that?
I haven't played many turn-based games since Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, okay.
And Final Fantasy series, I guess, if you will. So I'm not really expecting a lot, which in crypto and in stocks, which is a good thing. It's good to not expect things because then you're pleasantly surprised when you do get the game, which I would implore everyone to kind of take that with them, is that little piece of like, don't set your expectations too high, but be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I get you. The funny thing was there was an idea. Savannah threw out an idea in chat for the music bed, and she was like at the end of "Let Bartlett Be Bartlett," which is the West Wing. She and I are both complete aficionados of the West Wing, and have seen the series multiple times. I think I'm up to like 17 series watch-throughs or something like that. She's done it more. And there's a particularly poignant scene where Jed Bartlett, the president, played by Martin Sheen, kind of sheds his old be careful attitude and, yeah, fuck it, let's go, right? Which, of course, they didn't say that in the show. But his chief of staff says, "Yeah, I've got an idea of how to do this, and he's going to rally all the troops," basically is what he said. And he wrote down on a napkin, "Let Bartlett be Bartlett," because Bartlett is this thundering guy that can move mountains just with his speeches. And the music there was so on point that I actually tweeted Snuffy Waldron at the time, one of my watch-throughs. I tweeted at Snuffy, who was the sound, not the sound engineer, but he was the guy, he was the, what am I looking for? The composer. He was the composer that wrote the music for the West Wing. And so I tweeted at him and I said, "Dude, that music was on point. for that particular scene. And then unbelievably to me, this is like only one of 3 or 4 times I've ever gotten somebody who's verified to answer me on a tweet. He answered, and he was like, just basically saying thanks for the praise and all that stuff. So I think now that we're great friends, Snuffy and myself, I'll definitely get permission to use that on our bed. How about that? We'll try and do that. But yeah, so Bonga Bites in chat saying that he's had his expectations changed like 4 times. Just because he doesn't want to over-expect, but he doesn't think he's ever going to be disappointed with the project. And I kind of feel the same way, right? I set the expectations here for an NFT project, and then as I get more information, it's very hard on this project to not have them up here already. And I'll be honest, the only thing that tempers my enthusiasm is the fact that John hasn't really coded a game before, right? But there are, I've said it before, there's game studios that they're involved with that can do that. If you have the vision and you have the acumen to articulate what you want, Alexander in chat, how you doing? And wait a second, that's going to be Nikki, actually. That's going to be Nikki. So, hey, Nikki, how are you?
That's right. I don't have chat pulled up, but it's Alexander the Great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so trying to temper your enthusiasm, curb your enthusiasm is hard with some of these projects, but it's so huge. Okay, so the next thing that they went on to say was that the mobile game, when it comes out, this is going to be the iOS and the Android version, is not going to be fully immersive. And they mentioned No Man's Sky as kind of a, what would you call it, a inspiration for them, but it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be fully immersive where they can go and do whatever, where you can do whatever you want to. But long term, they hope to build a space-based VR experience. So, yeah, that may be 5 years away, but that still got me completely in. What about you?
Okay, so this is kind of where I went with this. A lot of people have been working on metaverses ever since Player One came out. I mean, people have had that idea. It's been in development, but we're still at the beginning stages. We're still in terms of where the metaverse could be. We are infant. We're not anywhere near, perfection or anything. So to bring in something like the Solaverse into this and expect it to be like this crazy Unreal 5 engine to where like you have like the suits and you're walking around, that's not something that I have expectations of right now. I want something that's going to build and continue to keep involvement and engagement with the community, with everyone, that as the Solaverse and the metaverses all continue to progress, continue to get better. 5 years from now, could we all be, sipping a martini, like, in a spaceship orbiting our star? Like, I'm just thinking like cool things. Like, yeah, that would be awesome. But is that something that I'm expecting right now? No, I'm not expecting that. I want something that's going to keep me engaged, keep me involved, just continuing to progress on. And I think that they're really in tune with that idea of like, get the building blocks set, get a foundation first.
Right. And that's the way to go with any project is I'm a product manager by trade, so I'm very well versed in the idea of the MVP, the minimum viable product. And that's kind of like the skate with some people call it the skateboard model, right? You're going to build a car. Well, you're not going to build a car. You're going to build a skateboard. And then you're going to build around that, right? It's a means to get someone from A to B faster than walking. So you're going to build a skateboard, then you're going to put a little handle on it, then you might put something else on it, then ultimately you're going to get to some manner of propulsion and blah, 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 right? And you iterate, and ultimately at the end of 3, 4, 5 years, whatever that is, you've got your final product. And you're never actually done. That's part of the agile methodology, right? It's never really truly done. You just keep iterating to make it better. and that's what I can't wait to see how they start and then how they continue those iterative processes. And so I see Skyender in the chat is like he's trying to temper his enthusiasm, his expectation, but I guess he went under NDA recently and says now that his expectations have soared through the roof. And be careful with that. That's a little bit on the edge there, but yeah, I feel exactly what you're talking about in terms of when you get an inside glimpse. It's very easy for your expectations to rise even higher, and yeah, I know what that's like. But there's
to add to this whole building block. I know there's one game that I know quite a few people probably play is Destiny.
Oh,
And
yeah, a friend of mine wrote that game. Actually, he's the same guy that was the lead designer on D&D 5. Rodney Thompson. Yeah, dude, that's great. That game is fantastic.
Right. That it was a great game visually. Everything about it. Even if it could be VR, it would have been like totally immersive, been awesome. I heard that Destiny, when I first bought it a long time, when it first came out, that it was going to be this 10-year project, and I was going to be able to buy the base game and be able to go out 10 years and still be playing the same Destiny, just having these add-ons. But then it all changed when it came out with Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So my whole with the Solaverse and how they're using these building blocks of like, listen, think of what the metaverse could be in 10 years. We're still going to be relevant. That would be great.
Right.
That's what I want from the Solaverse. That's why I bought into it. That was something that I was like, this can be something that continues on as the metaverse develops, as technology gets better. The Solaverse can only get better.
Right. Yeah, Bongo's in chat trying to figure out how many people I know, and so yeah, I've been podcasting since 2008. It was just a couple of years after podcasting really got started, and I chose a very good property to podcast on, which was Star Wars. So that's how I met Sam Witwer. That's how I, through him, met some of his friends, and off chances, meeting here, meeting there. One of his girlfriends, and I forgot her name. One of his girlfriends was incredibly well known in the anime space. So when they came over to the booth that I had at Gen Con selling our games, Sam came over and he brought his girlfriend with him, and our entire booth just got swamped because all these anime fans saw her, Chloe something or other. I forgot her last name. But yeah, so part of that is the fact that we had a very popular podcast, like 7,000 unique listeners per show when it was at its height. And a lot of pseudo, celebrity types would listen to the show, and we met a lot of them, and some of them became friends, right? Sam Witwer being one of them. Andy Hurley, who's the drummer for Fall Out Boy, being another one. These guys are gamers in their real lives, and you wouldn't know it, but they latched on and played. And I've been involved in the game space for a long, long time. And Rodney Thompson was the guy that wrote the original Star Wars RPG for Wizards of the Coast, and so that's how I got to know all those guys, right? And then Fantasy Flight Games picked it up, and I got to know all those guys, right? So it's kind of an organic thing in gaming. When you're doing a podcast, you kind of meet people and do things. But I assure you, my list of A-list celebrities that I know and that I've met ends and tops out with a guy that I had dinner with, which was Edward James Olmos, when Sam came to town and brought the Battlestar Galactica crew with him for a meet and greet, and I got to go to dinner with them, which was fantastic because I got to meet all those guys. Except for Katie Sackhoff, who wasn't there, who I really wanted to meet. But anyway. It's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'll probably cut that part out of the final podcast because it didn't really mean anything to the Solaverse. Next thing they said was token burn. There's a burn mechanism that's tied to the efficiency of the economy, and the supply is based on the game activity. It's kind of what John was talking about, or was it Tom? I forget. But it's basically, and then Senna popped in and said they've had 4 to 6 years worth of research and input on for tokenomics, and I believe that because John and Senna have both been, like me, involved in the financial services space for a long, long time. I was 15 years in the financial services space before I got into software, and so I believe them when they say they know what they're doing with tokenomics. And you've read through the white paper, right?
Oh yeah.
Is there anything there that seems out of sorts? I mean, a lot of people are saying 100 billion. Well, 100 billion isn't. I mean, Gala has 100 billion, right? In
Yeah, it's not crazy. It's not a crazy number. There's you look at Shiba Inu, which has a quadrillion
yeah,
out there.
and they're a shit coin. I mean, seriously.
Right. And this is, you got to look at it too, is that where everything is being developed, this is early stages too. There's lots of things that could happen with game coins in and of themselves being routed. Either just strictly for a game or being able to cross-platform to other games. I mean, the crypto space is just starting to, take off. I wouldn't leave 100 billion be the end all of coins of how this is not going to be profitable or it's not going to be worth your time.
Right.
It's too early to tell. It's way too early to tell.
Right. And and there was a guy in chat talking about other projects too that, well, they only have 6 billion, or they only have 1 billion or whatever. But every single one of the projects that he mentioned, like Axie or so, they have 2 tokens in their system, not just one. So you've got to remember that there's also a governance token on top of the regular day-to-day token that they've got as well. So that plays into account, right? Even Gods Unchained, right, has 2 tokens, right? I think they do, at least. And so yeah, there's 100 billion tokens really in the grand scheme when you have a free to play game. I don't think is outside the world of possibility. And I think they'll do a good job of managing and burning in the appropriate places. Like they mentioned they would burn on some token transactions, like naming your star would be a burn mechanism, I think somebody said once. So yeah. Okay, so then they also talked about the planets that were going to release. The mint was going to happen in Q2, so that's probably maybe May, June-ish time frame, I'm guessing. And and then there was a question about factions, and the answer from I want to say it was John, it might have been Senna, said that we would not have traditional factions, but that factions, there's 2 sides to that coin. So in fact it was John, because they were making fun of John actually doing a tease, and which he normally doesn't do, right? And so what does that mean to you? I mean, from a faction standpoint, most people think it's us against them, or like Star Atlas has 3 factions that are trying to control the Star Atlas metaverse. And so if it's not going to be like that in the traditional sense, what is it going to be? It's not. I don't know if it's going to be guilds. I think guilds are something else entirely.
Yeah. So that one had me kind of going for a loop, of what could they possibly be referencing in regard to not your typical factions. And so when you think of a faction of like, you're trying to accomplish a goal, right?
Right.
So guilds are kind of like, well, we're just a part of this guild. We all, do this. Maybe some of us play together. Maybe some of us don't. Maybe some of us do. You're just there. But
right.
A faction, you're trying to accomplish a goal. So what could be a goal within the Solaverse? What is the gameplay that we're looking for that's going to be operated by turn-based that allows you to create factions that you're going up against? If you're going up against anyone, is it other players? Is it the actual campaign or game itself? What's happening? Are you going to be able to play as people within the game? Are you going to be able to fight for your star? Are you going to be able to fight for a planet? Even if you own that planet, are you going to have to fight for it? Those types of things. It kind of had me spinning in regards to what do they mean by not your typical faction.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been able to really put my brain around that yet to try and generate a theory, but I think I will. I think both of us will be in that other room talking
Oh,
about
we will.
theories. Yeah.
I'll be there for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they also mentioned that they've got game design studios on board. I think I've mentioned that before. That their in-house development team has been working on the game, will continue to be working on the game, and that's not going to change in the foreseeable future. So they've got multiple parties involved in terms of in-house devs as well as game design studios. So I don't feel like we're in a bad place at all when it comes to this. I think they're, I'll take them at their word that they're on schedule. That their fourth quarter or first quarter next year release is going to be for the mobile game, is going to come out. Now they did also put out, and if you're an artist, listen up. They put out a call that if you would like to be showcased in the metaverse, Solaverse, that they are accepting commissions or giving commissions for artwork. So if you'd like to be involved in the podcast in the Solaverse, you can email them at, I think it was business@thesolaverse.com was their email address, if I'm not mistaken. And that the compensation packages range from just a simple commission up to being compensated with airdrops on the back end. So there are, I think you can pick your poison in terms of if you're an artist and you want to get something out there, you can either get paid up front or you can get paid in coin later. I would choose the latter, obviously, because I'm always a back end kind of guy, because I believe there's more value to be had in coins that have not yet been released. But that's just me. What else? Okay. So here they answered my question, which I had asked from a standpoint of your stars, because I've got 12 of them. There's no way I'm going to be able to day-to-day manage the planets associated with 12 stars. That's just not going to happen. So a lot of those are just going to have planets that people put stars on, or people that put the planets on the stars, and I won't be able to actively manage anything outside probably the 3 core systems that I'm talking about. So I asked if there was a mechanism by which... wait a second. Somebody's telling me to look above. Why? 2 races or 2 species is what Bongobyte says. Humans who've migrated versus aboriginal races. So... yeah, so there's some theories being thrown out in the chat room as well about our discussion that we just had. Yes, that would be neat, right? Traditional factions, we're going to have competitive warfare and all that jazz. And they did say that we were going to have looking for groups, right? That we were going to have ways to band together and play together. So, I don't know. But let's all meet up in the Fan Theories channel after the podcast and all throw our stuff out there. What do you say?
Yeah, because I have a good theory that I want to throw out there, and I have... definitely going to copy, click, and paste.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so I asked about star rentals. Basically, I was looking at and I used to play Axie Infinity. I jumped out of Axie Infinity a while back. In fact, that's how I funded my first 2 stars, is that I sold the Axies that I still had on hand and was able to buy the 2 stars with the 4 or 5 Axies that I had. And I asked about comparing to a scholarship program. So Axie Infinity, if you're not aware, you have to have 3 little Axies to build a team, and that team fights against somebody else's team that has 3 Axies. And it is a turn-based, you fight, he fights, you fight, he fights. But it's like an auto chess mechanism, right? You put out a team, he puts out a team, and then the computer just does its thing, right, based on the algorithm. Which is kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen with us. But star rental for me was to say, can I, since I own some stars, can I have somebody manage my stars, attract people to the system, put planets on it, all that jazz, and give them a percentage of what they have earned for me based on managing the star, right? Because the star would not do what it would do with no management whatsoever. Unless if somebody was actively using it, maybe it goes up and earns more than aside from just the 1% that's going to be paid out over 5 years, right? And so they confirmed that, yes, there will be a rental mechanism for stars. It will not be in the alpha game, obviously, but they will have information that they can release somewhere around that alpha game. And so that excites me. I don't know about you. And you've got 22 stars, so I imagine you would take advantage of a program like this, wouldn't you?
Oh, very much so. I don't think that I'd be able to manage all of them. I'm hoping to get some of my friends that are looking for work on the side to come in and do some of that, as you speak. Definitely is going to be a lot to manage 22, and El Bobo with 200. I'm sure he's got a team that he's going to deploy all those to.
Right. And for him, I would expect that, I would say at least 40% of his stars are speculative, meaning that he's going to flip them when they appreciate. That's what I would guess. If it were me, I would probably have, if I had 200 stars, at least half would be investments that I would flip for cash.
Oh yeah.
Later, right? And then maybe just hold on to, who knows, maybe even 75% are speculative. I don't know. I don't know what's in his mind. He could build an empire of people to build and run those stars, because any lump sum that you get for a star short of 50 ETH is not going to be what you will ultimately earn with the star over the 5-year period that you can hold it. That's my opinion, but I don't know.
I'm kind of with you. I think that after everything gets revealed, planets land, all the mechanics, that 10 to 20 ETH per star is not unquestionable. It's not crazy to think that.
No. I in fact, Senna told me when I threw out 10 ETH was going to be the floor after about a year. He was like, "Dude, no, you're aiming low," and that was in Discord. That was perfect. That was 100% public. And so I tend to believe that maybe I was aiming a little bit low, but it's going to be very hard for a lot of people to turn down 10 Ethereum, especially if Ethereum does what people say it's going to do next year and go to 6,500. It would be very hard for somebody to turn down $65,000 for a star that's not doing anything really right now, right? Because the game hadn't truly come out yet. So I think you're going to see some movement there, and I think that floor is going to kind of wobble around. But shoot, dude, yeah, that's 10 ETH. It's that's quite a bit of funds there, right? And Bongo Bytes in the chat saying it's like going to be 100 ETH for a legendary, and I don't know that I disagree with that, because it's going to have double the payout. It remains to be seen whether or not it's going to be double the stipend, that we are all going to get as star owners, as NFT holders. I don't remember seeing that specifically called out in the tokenomics, but I don't know. In my numbers, I accounted for that, but that was just my own fan base numbers. So the star rental thing, that is leading to the first user reindeer game for the Solaverse show. And this is where non-star owners only. Star owners, you are excluded from this, I'm sorry to say. This is an opportunity for people who do not yet own a star, that want to own a star, to collaborate with Big Yoda, myself, to own a star. And what I'm basically proposing is kind of a layaway system, but kind of not. That I would like for non-star holders, so you guys can notify your friends, if they want to join the Discord, they can DM me. That's fine. I usually ignore just about everything unless it is somebody who's in the Solaverse. Or they can email me, yoda@d20radio.com, D20radio.com, yoda@d20radio.com. And what I want is, I don't need an essay, but I want a fairly well thought out plan of how they would want to run a star system and why they want to be a part of the Solaverse. And from that, I will pick a couple of people that I will approach, that if they want to start with a .08 Ethereum investment, I'll pay the rest of the star. Obviously, this has a very limited time frame to it because I believe we will be fully minted by Monday. So if you know somebody that wants to be a part of this, get them to do it today or Saturday because I cannot guarantee that I'll be able to mint a star after Sunday. I don't know about you, Roby, but
Yeah.
I think we might have 3 days left in
The
this thing.
projected model.
Yeah. My
projected model is at
FOMO
30.
model has it out on Sunday.
Yeah, I had I did a conservative one way back when, which was at a 30 burn. So every day is 30 stars minted or burned, and it was projected January 7th. And so far, it's gone down now to December 26th. That's my end date. Is December 26th of 30 stars a day.
Right. So, yeah. So if you guys want to do this, non-star owners only, get them to either DM me or get them to email me. Again, yoda@d20radio.com. And give me a pitch of what they want to do. And now, granted, I will still own the star until such time that they have this rental available that you can run it. And then obviously that person can inch up and pay the 0.2 Ethereum. If the floor goes to 5 ETH, then the floor goes to 5. They still pay me 0.2 to get the star. There will be a time period of which there's going to be a cutoff, right? Of saying, hey, if you don't pay for your star, that's going to be it, like 6 months or something like that. But there will still be the opportunity for somebody to get into this thing really cheap, considering the floor now, and get a little help getting started, right, with being part of this. So that's just one of those things. And I don't know if it'll be one person, two person. I've got enough to do probably 3 or 4 that way, but we'll see if I find some stories compelling, right? And that's the thing, right? Is who comes that really shows passion of what they want to do that doesn't already own a star. And so there you go. That is the reindeer game for the Solaverse show that will last for approximately 3 days until we're minted out. And I'll take those just as they come and see what happens, right? So you guys let your people know, and after the show goes up and is recorded, this is about the 52-minute mark that we're at right now. I will do a little bit of editing, so it's probably going to be 51, 52 minutes, but we haven't had that many screw-ups, so I don't think I have to edit very much today. So there you go.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, moving on. The NFT fixed distribution. This was, to me, incredible. That the 1% that is being in the tokenomics, the 1% of the Sola tokens, which is 5 billion, no, what was it? 5%, sorry.
Yep.
5 billion tokens are being set aside for NFT holders. So we have 2,000 stars. If only 1,000 people stake their stars, then only 1,000 people will share in that 1% per year that come out. That was huge to me. You're not going to just be able to sit there and be a star owner and get the same payback if you don't stake your star.
It's going to reduce selling and raise the floor.
Absolutely it will, right?
It will make it go crazy.
Yeah. No,
it will reduce supply and demand will be high.
Yep. So I mean, these guys know what they're doing. And I firmly believe every single time another piece of information comes out was like, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. There has yet to be an announcement that I say, well, why are they doing that? And that, for me, I'm an analytical asshole when it comes to punching holes in people's business plans. So this is saying something. So make sure and stake your stars, make sure and stake your planets, all that jazz, to make sure that you get your income. And if you don't, on behalf of me and Roby, I will say thank you for giving us extra.
Yep, I'm pretty sure all of mine will be.
Right. Okay, so land. They started talking about land, different types of land. There was a question: can a dev kit or an API be used? And John basically said, "Talk to the hand."
Yep.
And
It's too early to talk about land. We haven't even gotten planets.
right, right. The next question was about asteroids and mining, and that the asteroids were a source of resources, but they will cost something. Senna leaked it, and we talked about this in the last show, right? And so we speculated that maybe there's a risk of collisions, or there's because the asteroids are always in motion, right? There's always a chance that your mining station is going to get blown up. But we're going to fast forward now to the end of the show, or the end of the AMA, where, let me tab down to my notes. Where did it go? All right. In fact, you know what? Hold on to that thought. Let's go forward to gravity. Somebody asked about black holes and things like that, quasars, whatnot. Senna said, nope, that's not in the game. It's not currently planned in the game, but we're looking at the fan theory channel, and we might be using one or two of those ideas as inspiration for some enhancements. I'm sure you smiled at that because you are the most active person in that channel.
Yeah, I actually had a question that I had posed in the AMA that didn't get answered, which was, will there be a chance for our NFTs to be combined? I know that that's one of the things that are going on with a lot of developing NFT projects is you can combine two to make a even more powerful or even a more profitable NFT. So if you can combine two of your stars and make them possibly something bigger, greater rewards, and it also reduces the star supply. It's a theory. It's definitely something that could be talked about.
Right. No, I absolutely, I believe you. And I know of another project that a friend of mine is a developer on, and so and that's exactly what. Wait, I'm sorry, I can't say that. Shit, I can't say that. I'm sorry, I'm under NDA with that project as well. So I never mind. Erase your brain. I did not just say that. But yes, I do know of the concept of taking NFTs, smashing them together, and coming out with a more valuable asset. Because there is a technology to be able to wrap those. You just can't necessarily destroy an NFT, so to speak. But it's a little bit harder than that. But yes, that I like that idea, and I don't know what else they're going to do. Black holes. It'd be kind of neat to see a black hole, but you know what utility does a black hole really provide at that point, right? I don't know. And John did say that physics was a thing, but they weren't going to make it like completely physics based, right? Because there had to be some wiggle room in there for the game, which is cool, right? Let's see. Token release starts in January, so that basically is confirming that the token release has to come before the alpha game comes out, which makes sense, right? You're going to need one before the other. And star holders are going to get a release at a discount in a private sale. So that helped me, and helped you too, I would imagine, because and Nikki was in the chat the whole time saying, Americans can't use IDOs, Americans can't be on ICOs, and because our securities regulations are so stupid. Yeah, so all those regulations really make the IDOs and the ICOs just not do business with Americans. So by doing a private sale that essentially is one-on-one, that you pay them, they give you stuff, and that falls outside the ICO and the IDO, which allows the Americans to participate. So I was very happy with that response. Now, correct. If there does wind up being an IDO or an ICO, I'll miss out on that part. But my feeling is, like every other coin launch that I've seen, is that it runs at the beginning, and then it tanks, and that's an excellent opportunity for you to get in.
Yep, that 50% Warren Buffett rule. Get things at a discount.
Right, and use other people's money when you can. So slotting of planets, this is old news, right? The planets mechanics are coming in mid next year, but yes, you will be able to buy them, rent them, sell the slots. You can move planets from star to star, no problem. Then there was the question that got Tom in trouble. The entire room erupted. I think he got slapped, physically hit. when somebody asked how does mining work, and Tom just comes out and says, "Well, we're going to have a mechanism by which you can launch your harvesting or mining ships as long as your system has an asteroid belt," and everybody went batshit crazy. I tried to do a Tom impersonation there, but it didn't work out so well.
Oh, it was really good.
And
It
John's in the chat. Dang it! See, now we're going to get double hit, and we're going to get Tom assaulted again because John has made it into the chat room. But so therein now, let's go back to the mining theory. Is if you have the harvest or mining ships that you have as a part of your mining operation, and you've got these launch pads, and the funny thing is they never said the word launch pad. I had a question about Americans using launch pads, and I meant IDOs, right? And they took it to mean buildings to launch your ships from, and so that further perpetuated the leak, right? And stretch, you have to stretch, basic blaze, redeem stretch. So now you've got to stretch out and kind of do some stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we are. So if that is the case, I believe the cost associated with mining is going to be that you could, while your mining vessel is doing its mining, you could have it not necessarily destroyed because, like I said, I don't think you can destroy NFTs. I think you can have it damaged to where you have to put in Sola tokens to have it repaired to be able to continue mining. So I think that is a very real possibility of having damage to your either mining operation, your mining platform, or your ship, one or the other, because those asteroids are always in motion, right? You're going to have collisions.
So this kind of leads into my one theory that I will be posting about in fan theories, is having these different factions that we were talking about. Maybe there's a fighting faction, maybe there's an exploring faction, maybe there's a mining faction, maybe there's a story, a progressive faction in regards to connecting things, making travel between stars easier. There's lots of different ways, and if you have a mining faction and you're the only one in that system that can mine the asteroids, but if someone comes in as a fighting faction and can take over, maybe they can take your so-called resources that you're going to get, and you have other people that are in your guild or whatever that are part of a fighting faction that can defend it, but all you can do is be like, hey, I got mining stuff and it's getting overtaken. There's lots of different game theories that come in.
Right. And at that point, your resources that you're mining are not NFTs at that point, right? They're just resources. They're stuff in a bag. And so if a pirate faction comes along and loots your ship before you've offloaded it onto your space station or whatever you have. Hey, speaking of that, space stations as NFTs? Is that like your living module, so to speak? I don't know. That's something that I wasn't even asked. It just popped into my head. But, okay, so then there was a question about a map. There will be a map of stars in the Solaverse, which is great. That makes me happy. We can have a galaxy map or whatever it's going to look like. And then a question came out about planets and land. Is there going to be a set amount of land per planet, and are all planets going to have the same amount of land? And I loved the answer that I think it was John that gave, which is that there will be a set amount of land per planet, but planet A's land is not going to be the same as the amount of land on planet B. And so I think that's going to help us in terms of gauging how much a planet is worth as to how much land can be sold on it. So land is an attribute that's going to be different from planet to planet, just like gravity is an attribute that's going to be different from star to star, that's going to be more and less valuable, I think.
Yep. Yeah, that was my question that he answered, and that was kind of the exact thing that I was thinking is, there's probably going to be legendary planets, there's probably going to be ultra rare, regular old planets,
right.
So having the ability to put land on those.
Sorry. That Savannah pulled a me in chat. You know, I'm the one that's always throwing out crazy, stupid things that are like, I don't remember what it was. One time I said something's confirmed, right? You know, frog people are confirmed.
Yeah, VW bus confirmed.
Right. And people call me, you know, people have told me, oh, you're a dick for doing that, right? And throwing out all kinds of stuff that's not true. And it's not meant that way. It's just it's all in fun. If you don't know me, then obviously you might take what I say real, but it's not meant to be. But anyway, she just threw out there, water world confirmed. No land at all.
Right. That'd be awesome.
That would be funny. And by the way, I never actually signed the NDA with that other project, so screw them. Yeah, they are going to combine NFTs together to create stronger ships, like putting a gun. The gun is going to be an NFT that goes onto your ship, and that makes the overall ship stronger because it has a better gun or whatever, right? And that's what another project is doing is using NFTs to boost the value of the main NFT, if you will. And it's not a concept that's foreign to any. I mean, you mentioned it, Roby. It's not like it's earth breaking or earth shattering news to say, oh, NFTs being combined, film at 11. No, it's a thing that's been out there for a while. What next? Oh, this was kind of cool, right? Community written lore. You know what's the story around? Can we write things or release packages? Or they talked about releasing special packages for founding stars, and but there are licensing and commercial rights that go along with that they haven't quite figured out, and I get that, right? But they were also throwing out the idea of CC0 licenses and NFT drops to help build your own inner stories. CC0, by the way, Creative Commons 0, I think that's the most widely marketable Creative Commons license that there is, that you can basically do anything with the content that you create. And so that sounds really kind of cool that you can do, hey, Basic Blaze, first time chatter, hey, how you doing? That is, and by the way, Basic, thanks for the follow, and Litha Music as well, thanks for the follow. You guys, all of you that have been following through the show, Curtin, DJ, TJ, all those guys, thank you. I appreciate it. I wasn't keeping track of that. But, dude, what do you think about that? I kind of like the idea of being able to write your own lore around some of this stuff and really market your stuff. I wonder how much space they're going to give us on the website to do that, if any at all. That's a question. I lost you. I see you speaking. I see your mouth moving, but I don't hear you.
Sorry. I got my daughter in the background, so I muted it. But yeah, I have a lot of theories, and what I was saying is my theories can turn into stories very easily. Like the whole fact of the NFT is based on our moon. What if we found something on the moon that allowed us to then travel to the Solaverse, and going from the Solaverse, we find this ancient technology that allows us to communicate with and send back in time. You know, there's a lot. There's just so much. So, yeah, it'd be great to be able to take that creative license and just use it and build the Solaverse into the community that we want it to be.
Right. 100% with you, man. 100% with you. I think. I can't wait to. I can't tell if that's background music on my end or what. I don't know what that is. I cannot wait to see what that is going to look like. And oh Lord, of course, perfect time. For that to come in. Yeah, no, I got a job on Fiverr to do some kind of voiceover thing. So I have to respond to those within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, I lose credibility on Fiverr. You know how that goes, right? Let's see. I just heard something.
Oh, yeah.
What just happened? Something. Whoa! The Solaverse just gave out 5 sub gifts. That is fun. That is fantastic, actually, is what that is. So, yeah, 5 gift subs given out by, I'm guessing that's going to be John in there, doing all kinds of fun, awesome stuff. So, man, I appreciate that. That's really awesome. That's supposed to be a Yoda sound effect when that happens, by the way. I got to go back into my Streamlabs and figure out what happened there. But so the last thing about that was that basically you're going to be able to create your own lore. It's just a matter of whether or not you can serve it, right? And then Skyender got a sub. Hey, how about that? And finally, the last thing that came out of the AMA was that, actually, two last things. One, daily missions end on December 31st. So to me, that means that the token is going to be out in January. And so our daily missions are going to end, which have been fantastic. I mean, for guys like you and me that have a lot of stars, that's a real head start in terms of the tokens that we're going to have, which is fantastic. Even for those of you that have 1 or 2 stars, this is something that's going to be, it's really going to help you dive off of that springboard and name your star, whatever you want to do with the tokens that you have. It's going to be fantastic. And then finally, esports. And the stuff that I really wanted to know, right? Because I stream Twitch, I don't have that huge a following or anything like that, but this is going to allow us to potentially have esports and do things online and play against other people. And yes, so there will be competitions, there will be esports, there'll be creation of skins and all that stuff. And whether or not it's going to be the same wallet or a different wallet, I mean, it depends to be seen. It's, I'm personally hoping for Immutable X because I really like that platform. I like what they do. I don't like the stupidity that has to happen when you have to go from Polygon back to the ETH. And I think it's a racket the amount of gas that they charge you to be able to translate back into ETH on the mainnet, but that's just me personally. But yeah, every single level 2 is going to have different requirements for that. So are the things that you're going to use in your esports competitions and the little trinkets and all that stuff that go with it, are they going to be on the same? I don't know. Nobody knows, right? They couldn't tell us that either because they probably haven't fully looked at all of the various level 2 providers out there yet, right? They haven't come to a decision, nor should they, right? Because they don't need to be doing that stuff for a while yet.
That's exactly it. It's too early to tell. It's too early to get into the specifics, especially when things can change, things can get, technology can advance in just such a short amount of time.
Posture check. Litha just redeemed posture check, so make sure you're sitting up straight. And yeah, so look, Savannah got a sub as well. Look at this. John's going bananas in chat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, love is in the air. Love is in the air. Yeah, with being a little bit sick, I get this little deeper voice thing because I've got some congestion here, and I wish I could keep it forever, but I can't. And yeah, but that's the way of it, right? Everybody wishes they could have Morgan Freeman's voice. Me personally, I wish I could have. Oh shoot, who was the guy in Tron? Bruce Boxleitner. Oh God, I would pay money to have that guy's voice. It's fantastic. And I might as well go ahead and leak right now that yes, I will have a star named Tron because I'm a big Tron fan. I would love to engineer some manner of way to play light cycles on that platform. So, all right. So that was it for the AMA. That's it for our news. And so, if you want to hang around for 5 minutes while I do shameless plugs for myself, you feel free to, and we can talk a little bit at the end. But here's one of the things that I'm planning on doing. And one is I would like to buy a couple of more stars. And I think I am going to do some manner of, and as I said before, I'm about to be, I guess, whatever certification there is for this Solidity developer, and I'm going to launch an NFT project in late January, early February, called the Diceverse. And what it is, basically, is a collection of dice. That's really all it is, but it turns the mechanics on its ears in terms of the dice all are loaded. They have special qualities, so they don't roll exactly randomly. Some of them are going to roll 20s more often than anything else, and you can use them in your role-playing games as such to really kind of screw with people. But the idea is, and this is where Chris and I are coming with a game to market in January, hopefully third week of January at our current run rate. and we're in the middle of our third sprint now, and the game should be playable by the end of the fifth sprint. So what we're looking at is basically our first little proof of concept to show you that we can actually build things that we say we're going to build. Is basically called Battle Yahtzee. I mean, for lack of a better term, we'll have a better name for it. But you have a pool of dice based on the NFTs that you buy, and if you don't buy NFTs, that's fine. You can play for free. The dice themselves, if you're familiar with role-playing games, then there is like D&D, for example. You have strength, you have dexterity, you have wisdom, you have charisma. You have 6 different categories of characteristics, and the dice are going to have the characteristics instead of the player. So this turns that kind of on its head in terms of, oh wait, what can I do with this? I can apply these to this other character? Yeah, you can. But in the short term, you're going to have dice versus dice wars with one another. And specifically, the strength, the dex, and the constitution scores, which we're calling beef, strength, or no, beef, strong, and not agility. What are we calling it? I think mobility. I think are going to tell us how strong you hit when you hit, how likely you are to dodge if you dodge, and how many hit points you can take before you die. And then it's basically roll it and see if you have a combination: 2 pair, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind, full house, whatever the case is, right, based on poker. And each one of those types of things will do damage to your opponent unless they dodge. And the loaded dice mechanic will not be a part of this game because it's meant to be more actual random dice. But the API is written as such that you can build your own game off of our platform and either use or not use the stats on the dice. So that's it, right? And then part of it also, there's rare dice, the whole NFT thing. The dice themselves are going to have little hats and arms and legs and things like that are going to look kind of cool and fun. And the rarity of the dice are based on what your avatar or the NFT looks like. Each die is going to be a set of role-playing dice. So you can use them, because we're going to integrate with a tabletop platform, you can use them to play a role-playing game that's going to be set in the Diceverse on land that you can purchase. This is all stuff that's in the future. But the creator of the game that is going to be in the Diceverse can either choose to let you use your loaded dice or not use your loaded dice. And so that's where the value proposition for us comes in, is that the role-playing gamers have always played role-playing games, right? And they put their time into this, and they play, and they have a lot of fun with other people, but at the end of the day, they don't own jack. So what if you have an NPC character that is a bag, it's an NFT, that you can level up? And if you're playing D&D, great. You start at level 1, you go to level 5, and then you're not playing anymore. Well, what happens to the level 5 character? Nothing. It goes into your bag, usually, and never gets seen again. Well, what if you can sell that to another player who wants to play in a level 5 D&D game? Hello. This will give you the opportunity to do that, right? And that's kind of where we're going, right? Is that role-playing games have been underrepresented in the multiverse, or the metaverse so far. So that's what we're coming to market with at the beginning of 22, I'm sorry. And if you want a shot at it, this is what we're going to do. I am actually going to auction off a star, and it's going to be like 0.02 or 0.01 or something like that, something minimal, to buy a token to get a chance at winning the star. But for the people that buy one of those tokens, they will automatically be whitelisted into the Diceverse, meaning that they'll get a free mint and probably 2 dice sets, because we're gonna go to market with the dice sets probably being 0.02 or 0.03 because we want a really low barrier to entry. And I'm getting way too ahead of myself in terms of leaks and stuff because we haven't built everything out. But that's basically what the Diceverse is going to be. And dude, yeah. So anyway, that's the mechanism by which I'm going to try and auction off a star to get somebody in at a very low price point to the Solaverse. And so it's kind of using one platform to help me build out another platform. And then we chose Immutable X because it's on the Ethereum mainnet, so that we can eventually integrate our little game with the Solaverse. So that's where it eventually is going to go, right? Did that make sense?
Yeah, it made sense. I'm currently juggling about 3 things right now.
Right.
I got all of it. It does make sense.
Yeah. So that's the more news coming soon as soon as I get the NFT contracts done and put them up and all that jazz. I'll have a website that we're going to mint from, but it's basically, yeah, you can win a star, maybe two, I don't know, it depends on how many stars I have at that point, and how many people want to participate. But that's an easy way to get into the whitelist without having to do a bunch of stuff that other people have you do. And I've learned enough from John and from Senna to know that the best way to grow a community is organically, without getting 50,000 bots into your damn Discord and then letting the chaos take hold, because that's just not the way to go.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah. And I get, Bongabyte said, you're talking way too fast, but this is the stuff that Chris and I have been planning for 6 months. We've been on this, starting to build things and ideating about this. So it's, once I get started on this kind of thing, I'm just I bet I am the Senna in the group, because Chris doesn't want to say jack to anybody. So Chris is going to be John. Anyway, what else, dude? Anything else that you want to add before we tie a bow on this guy?
Get minting to the stars. Get minting them stars, because my one thing is, don't ask what you can do for your star, but what your star can do for you.
That's awesome.
I can do it in different voices if you want to, but
don't ask what your star can do for you. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
I got family that's starting to roll in.
Oh, yeah,
deep.
perfect. I can hear the background. Since we've been going, there have been 9 more stars minted. We are at 1,737 stars minted now. 263 remain. And yeah, so dude, that's that represents a run rate of 80 stars today minted. Run rate up to 44.8, which means that just normal run rate, we will be done with this project December the 22nd. And my FOMO acceleration model says that we will be done tomorrow night. So, I don't know that that's going to happen, but I would think definitely by Sunday or Monday. I think that we're there. So, all right, exciting times here in the Solaverse, guys. Exciting time. Anyway, dude, I really appreciate you being on here today. I really do.
Yeah, thanks. It was awesome. Great experience, and I hope to do it again as we get closer, and especially after stars get minted.
Oh yeah,
to 2,000.
Yep. And those of you that are star holders, if you want to be on the show, you don't have to do video. For those of you that are under contract that can't show your face anywhere, nudge, nudge. So you can just do voice only if you would like. That's fine. That's no problem. Either DM me in the Discord or email me at yoda@d20radio.com. I know I've got Riri coming on the show. I don't remember if it's next week or not. I don't recall. I have to get back in touch with those of you that have emailed. But we're going to start. I'm going to start a Google Calendar to allow people to sign up for this, and so that's probably the best thing to do is have those signups, and that way, if you can't make it, then we can find somebody else to fill the spot and all that jazz. So anyway, yeah, dude. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm glad I didn't tell you, but I'm glad you changed your name down there in the Zoom, so that way you didn't get doxxed right here on purpose. But yeah, good stuff, man. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'll see you in Discord.
All right, man.
Fan theories.
We will see you in the Discord. And for those of you listening to show number 3, we appreciate it. We'll be back next week with Solaverse show number 4 with maybe some more good stuff. Who knows? Probably some more good stuff. And hopefully with news of a star reveal. Yes. In any event, all of you, good night and good luck.
Get to the minting.
The opinions presented here are the opinions of the host and or guests and do not represent the opinions or views of the Solaverse, their managing partners, or employees. Any information regarding cryptocurrency or non-fungible tokens should not be construed as financial advice. All original content is considered the intellectual property of Studio 42, LLC.